Okay, joined today by Nikki Katz in our Adelaide office. How are you, Nikki?
I'm really well, Drew. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming in for another chat. Wanted to talk to you today about people looking to sell a food manufacturing business. You've sold quite a few and recently quite a large one in Adelaide. And look, there's lots to food manufacturing, obviously a lot of different sectors, lots of different customers, lots of different suppliers, lots of different types. But in general, I just wanted to talk to you, and interestingly, the larger one you just sold is a sale of shares in the holding company as opposed to a business asset sale. It's a bit more tax effective for a seller. So I thought we'd talk through some of those challenges and in food manufacturing, and if I've got a food manufacturing business to sell, be it small or large, what are some of the things I should think about?
Well, with food manufacturing, first of all, that particular business we looked at both as a business sale and a share sale, and we consulted with the accountant and the lawyer that they were dealing with as to which way was beneficial for the client. The client was looking to retire, so he was looking to obviously minimise his tax when he was coming out of selling the proceeds for the business. So that was the first thing that we did, was we looked at it in both ways, and then we put to the accountant and the lawyer to advise us on which way from the tax point of view was the best for the client. Other than that, we then reviewed the business, and we were looking at all sorts of things. We were looking at supply chain for when they're producing the food, where all the supply chain was coming from, how consistent and reliable that was. Obviously, the management structure, who are the people who are included in the business. This particular one was a family business, so there was actually about 3 or 4 family members who were included in the business, and how could they be exited out and replaced, and would they be willing to stay on in the business? Obviously, so staffing, how long the staff had been there, so the continuity of the staff, that when the owners do retire and leave, that the staff understand the business and how to function the business after that, and obviously a good set of financial accounts. The difficulty with this one was they hadn't done a stock take for quite a while, so that threw out some of their checks and balances, so we had to go in and do that. We also got all their plant and equipment valued independently, just so that we were up to speed with exactly what that plant and equipment, which can be a heavy expenditure for food production. So we got a third party in to do a report on the plant and equipment, just so that we made sure that that value was correct. And we went through the whole process of finding the buyer. Now, what I wanted with the buyer was making sure that it was kept within the culture of the business, which was very much about quality assurance to the client, to the customer. They dealt with supermarkets and things, so the positioning in the supermarkets, and how many SKUs they did in their production to make sure that obviously it wasn't one product that was going out. So we wanted to make sure that there was a really broad SKU products that they did.
Also, I recall one issue in that particular transaction that came up was health and safety. I think the buyer wanted to redo the floors. Was it in the
yeah,
quite a lot in food manufacturing. It's an important issue.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they had to make sure that it was the factory was compliant, so that they were able to produce, because any food manufacturing business can get shut down instantaneously if they're not keeping up to date. Look, they were really strategic in the sense that they wanted to make sure that there was no issues with the business when we went forward. So they already had got valuations done for rescreeding the factory floor, etc., and we had built that into to the business sale. And they also have a day where they just clean, where the whole factory shuts down. They don't produce, and they do various series cleaning. So no, the business was a really nice business. It was slightly dated in its functionality as far as their processes and procedures are concerned, but obviously that sometimes comes hand in hand with a vendor who is looking to retire. They usually have systems that they're doing. So obviously I was looking for a buyer that was going to come in and modernize some of their systems and make it more time effective.
That's good. So just in summary, went through in that business, just a bit of tax advice for the seller and to which would be more efficient, business sale or share sale. Went through it then how the transition would work in terms of, was there a good management team in place, or did we have to structure a deal whereby the owners stayed on for a little bit of time? Reviewed all the plant and equipment, made sure that was all in good working condition and got an independent valuation of that. went through the customer base and the supplier base, made sure there wasn't one huge customer or one huge supplier, just made sure that was all neat and tidy, and found the right buyer for the purchase, which is pretty important. Someone who'd take it over pretty seamlessly, without too much disturbance.
Well, we had to find a buyer that understood food production. You can't really come into food production without understanding the ethos on it. And we took it out to a couple of people who had previously been in similar type businesses and maybe sold out. So I did do a direct market approach to our database, which was really, really effective because, to be honest, we didn't want this business to be really seen on the open market. We tapped into a really good database of buyers who were, you know, in Adelaide, it's very small. I understand now the people to connect with, and made sort of direct calls to them to showcase the business to them, and that's how we got our result, which was through a food group who had other different food interests and other different companies, and so that sits really, really well in their stable.
All right, thanks heaps, Nikki. I appreciate that. And look, if you do have a food manufacturing business in South Australia, Nikki is obviously an expert in that area amongst many others, and happy to have a chat. You can find Nikki's details on morganbusinesssales.com on the About Us page. Nikki, thank you so much for a quick chat about how to sell a food manufacturing business. We really appreciate your time.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.